So this is part 3 of the lab on aspects of growth and development. In this part we're looking at changes in live weight, growth rate and relative growth rate with age. So we've been supplied data of age and body weight, and from that data we can work out how animals like this are growing at different rates at different ages. So it's not a linear process, and this data will produce graphs that illustrate that the growth rate, relative growth rate are not linear.
So this is exercise 3, and up here we have the data that's in the lab manual, and this is simply body weight at different ages, and this data will allow us to generate a growth curve, a growth rate curve, and a relative growth rate curve. So we're going to use this data up here to fill in this table down here, and we're going to start just by working out the average age between day 56 and day 84. Just one thing to bear in mind when we are doing this is that the age here is from conception. Okay, so the animal is born at about 150 days, so it'll be born around here. So the average age is simply that age there plus that age there divided by 2. And I can just copy that across there. And to work out the average body weight, it's just the same thing, that plus that divided by 2, so I can copy that down and then copy that across. So as we are filling in the data here, we are filling in the graphs here. So this has produced our growth curve, and starts from day 70, which is about halfway through the pregnancy. So about the same spot as we started in exercise 1, when we were looking at growth of the fetus. So here, this part of the graph is still the animal still in the uterus, born about here, and you can see how the growth rate increases after it's been born. So let's fill in the next part. So the body weight gain per day. So for this step here, it's gone from 45 grams to 500 grams, and it's taken between 56 to 84 days. So we need the change in weight over the change in days. So we put in here equals, opens and brackets, 500 grams minus 45 grams, close that, and divide that by day 84 minus day 56. That gives us the time taken. Hit enter, and oops. So that's filled in the second graph, and this is the body weight gain against time, or the growth rate. And you can see it starts off fairly low at the initial around the start here, and increases and is at its maximum at around 350 grams per day at day 171. So that's, if we say it was born at day 150, that's 21 days, so about 3 weeks of age it is growing at its fastest, and then the growth rate gradually slows down after that. And then we just do the last one, which is percentage change in body weight per day. or the relative growth rate, so the growth rate relative to the size, and this equals the 16.3 grams gain per day divided by its body weight. So about 6% there. Copy it across. Look down at the graph, and because it's the relative growth rate, and down at the start here, what did it weigh? 270 grams. Then initially, when the animal's small, the increase is relatively large compared to the size of the animal. So it starts off high, and as the animal gets bigger and bigger, the relative growth rate gets lower and lower. And if you continued this data on, I'm not quite sure what breed of animal this was taken from, but it's nearly 60 kilograms there. So maybe 70 kilograms would be this adult weight. So this graph is going to keep going, and then it would plateau out when it's reached the mature body weight. So it'll be flat as soon as it's matured. And once this line here is flat, it means it's not growing or losing weight, then the body weight gain or the growth rate will be 0. So that as soon as this one plateaus, this one will come down to 0, and the relative growth rate will also come down to 0. So that's how we generate those growth curves. And now we'll move on to exercise 4.